KI-Deep Research, Grok3 versus ChatGPTs neue Grenze. Entdecken Sie, wie KI-Deep Research die Art und Weise revolutioniert, wie wir lernen und arbeiten.
All right, so you sent me quite a collection here.
Oh, yeah.
About deep research.
Yeah, AI deep research.
And it's really interesting because it seems like every, big name in tech is suddenly releasing their own version of this.
Yeah,
So,
it's really having a moment right now, yeah.
yeah, it seems like it. We've got pieces here from Tom's Guide, CNET,
Yeah.
Engadget, Tech Radar, Seeking Alpha, ZDNet, and even a blog post
Wow,
from a guy who says he's using it to write a book.
that's impressive.
So
Yeah.
our job in this deep dive is to really just break it all down.
Okay.
What is this deep research thing?
Yeah.
Why is everyone making such a fuss about it? And what does it mean for,
Yeah.
the average person?
Well, you can think about deep research as like an AI-powered
Yeah.
research assistant.
Okay.
It can go through a ton of information online,
Okay.
articles, PDFs, all this stuff,
Mhm.
and pull out the most relevant things for whatever you're working on.
So what you're saying is, like, instead of me spending hours and hours going down these internet rabbit holes,
Yes.
this can do it in, like, minutes.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's a big game changer.
It is a game changer, yeah.
You sent me this blog post from a guy named Matthias Sundin,
Yeah.
and he says he's using it to research his book topics much faster.
Yeah, and he even included an example report that he generated about IVF.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just like one company that's doing this, right? It's
Mark,
like everybody.
No, it's like a full-on AI arms race at this point.
It is.
OpenAI, Google, XAI, Microsoft is even getting in on the action.
Wow.
And the Tom's Guide article that you sent over actually did a head-to-head comparison of ChatGPT Deep Research and XAI's Grok3.
Okay.
And spoiler alert, ChatGPT is way better.
Okay.
From
So
here.
why is that? What makes their version so much better?
Well, from what I've gathered, ChatGPT is just really good at understanding language
Mm-hmm.
and then connecting different pieces of information.
Yep.
Like its synthesis skills are much better.
So it's not just about finding the information, it's about being able to understand it and
Exactly.
put it all together.
It has to synthesize it in a way that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we kind of get what it is.
Yeah.
We understand who's making it.
Right.
But the real question is, like, what can you actually do with it?
Yeah. What can you do with deep research?
Like, paint me a picture.
Okay. So imagine that you have a really big meeting
Uh-huh.
with a new client.
Okay.
You can use deep research to get a complete rundown of their company, like their recent performance, their whole industry,
Oh, wow.
even their biggest competitors,
Mhm.
all in a fraction of the time it would normally take you.
So it's not just for, like,
Right.
people in specific fields. Like,
Yeah.
could I use it to finally understand quantum physics?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Deep research can take something super complex,
Uh-huh.
break it down into plain English.
Okay.
It could even pull up the latest research papers
Uh-huh.
on quantum physics
Wow.
and summarize them for you.
So this is really like having
Yes.
a world-class research team at my fingertip.
Exactly.
Okay.
The ZDNet article talked about how this is going to be huge for finance, science, policy, engineering. But honestly,
Uh-huh.
this is something that anyone can benefit from.
It does sound really amazing, but I have to imagine
Yeah.
there are some downsides, right? Like,
Whoa.
nothing's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to remember that this is still new technology.
Yeah.
And with any new technology, there are things to be aware of, risks.
Sure.
It can still make mistakes, like misinterpret information.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a chance that he could just make stuff up entirely.
Okay, so you're saying we shouldn't just blindly trust
No,
whatever the AI spits out.
don't blindly trust it.
Okay.
No,
Right.
human oversight is still really important.
Yeah.
You should definitely be double checking the information,
Uh-huh.
especially if you're making important decisions based on it.
Right, so it's a tool,
Yes.
but we still need to use our brains
Real-
and kind of double check.
Absolutely. Think of it as a collaboration
Okay.
between you and the AI.
I like that.
Deep research handles all the boring stuff,
Yeah.
gathering and processing information,
Uh-huh.
but you bring your own expertise and judgment.
So it's a team effort.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how do people actually access this? Is it something that anyone can use right now?
Well, access is expanding pretty rapidly.
Yep.
OpenAI just made deep research available to all ChatGPT Plus users.
Wow. So no more needing that crazy expensive pro plan
Yeah.
that Engadget and Tech Radar and
Yeah.
Seeking Alpha we're all talking about?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's just part of the standard ChatGPT Plus subscription now, which is $20 a month.
Okay.
And Google is offering their deep research through their Google One AI premium plan, also for $20 a month.
Okay, so there are some choices out there, so
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So for our listener,
Yeah.
what do you think is the biggest takeaway here?
I think the biggest takeaway is that this is a powerful tool
Okay.
that has the potential to really change the way we learn and work.
Mm-hmm.
It's still early days,
Yeah.
but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Okay, so we know what it is.
Yeah.
We know who's making it.
Mm-hmm.
We know what it can do, how to get access to it.
Right.
But how is it going to affect, like, the real world?
Yeah.
What are the bigger implications of having this
That's a great question.
kind of tech at our fingertips?
And that's something that we'll dive into further after the break.
Right, we'll be right back. Welcome back. You know, before the break, we were talking about deep research really having the potential to change how we learn and work.
Yeah, and it really struck me reading Matthias Sundin's blog post.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about AI replacing us. It's more like deep research making us better at what we already do.
Yeah.
You know, it's that human-AI partnership that seems to be key here.
He makes a really interesting analogy about a musician learning to play multiple instruments. You know, you don't need to play the trumpet to write a killer guitar riff.
Right.
But understanding different instruments just makes you a better musician overall.
Yeah.
Deep research is like that extra instrument for our brains.
I love that, yeah.
Instead of spending hours and hours, you know, getting lost in the weeds of an internet search,
Right.
we can get a really solid overview quickly.
Exactly.
And then use our energy for the things humans are actually good at.
Yeah.
You know, like critical thinking, problem solving,
All that good stuff.
all that good stuff.
That AI can't do.
Exactly. And that ZDNet article
Yeah.
really highlighted how valuable that could be for fields that are really, you know, knowledge intensive.
Mhm.
Like imagine a financial analyst using deep research to instantly get up to speed on a company's finances, market trends,
Right.
and then using, you know, their own expertise to put together a winning investment strategy or something.
It's like deep research handles all the tedious research tasks and frees us up to do what AI can't do.
Yeah.
Just make those nuanced judgments that really require human intuition.
Okay, so let's get specific.
Okay.
How could this change things like education?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What could that look like?
Imagine a classroom where students can use deep research to get a comprehensive understanding of a complex topic
Uh-huh.
before they even step foot in the classroom.
That's interesting.
It could completely change how we teach and learn.
Wow, so that would free up teachers to actually,
Yeah.
you know, guide discussion and mentor students,
Right.
focus on the why behind the information, not just the what.
Exactly. And it turns the classroom from a place of passive learning
Mm-hmm.
to this hub for active inquiry and collaboration.
I like that.
And it's not just formal education either.
Right.
Think about lifelong learners, you know,
Mhm.
people pursuing their hobbies.
Uh-huh.
Anyone with a thirst for knowledge, this is,
Yeah.
this is going to change things for them.
I love Sundin's example of, you know, a salesperson using deep research to understand a potential client in minutes.
Yep.
No more frantically Googling before a big meeting you can walk in.
Exactly.
Feeling confident and prepared.
Yeah.
But hold on, what if people start to lean on this too much and stop
That's a good point.
thinking for themselves?
Yeah, that's definitely something to be mindful of.
You know, that's got to be a concern, right?
Yeah, like any tool, deep research can be misused. So we need to be really proactive about developing those critical thinking skills
Right.
alongside these new technologies.
So it's not about letting the AI do all our thinking for us.
Exactly.
We have to be active participants.
You got it.
Okay, I like that.
So I want to shift gears for a second and talk about the competition in this space.
Okay.
You know, we've got OpenAI, Google, XAI, all vying for that top spot.
Uh-huh.
The Tom's Guide piece seems to suggest that OpenAI's ChatGPT deep research is the most advanced right now.
Yeah.
But the landscape is changing so rapidly, who knows what the future holds?
And it is moving at lightning speed. And with Microsoft adding AI features into their Copilot, it feels like, this technology is going to be everywhere very soon.
It's true, it's true.
Yeah.
And you know, what's interesting is that Microsoft's approach isn't exactly the same as these dedicated deep research agents.
Okay.
They haven't given Copilot full internet access or the ability to act completely independently.
Right.
At least not yet.
So it's more of an enhanced brainstorming partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than a full-fledged researcher.
Good job. Yeah.
It's fascinating to see all these different approaches.
Yeah, and for us as the users, that variety is a good thing.
Okay.
It fosters innovation and competition,
Yeah.
which ultimately leads to better products and services.
Competition is always a good thing.
It is.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
let's go back to this idea of access.
Uh-huh.
It's fantastic that OpenAI made this available to ChatGPT Plus users.
Yeah.
No more needing that pricey Pro plan, but $20 a month
Yeah.
still isn't exactly pocket change for a lot of people.
You're right, and that's where Google's offering becomes really interesting. Bundling deep research into their Google One AI premium plan also for $20 a month makes it a really appealing alternative. They're clearly trying to compete on affordability.
Right, so it seems like the race for AI dominance is also going to be a race to make these tools accessible to everyone. The more accessible they are, the bigger the impact will be.
Right.
Which brings us back to our listener.
Yeah.
What does this all mean for them?
I think it's both incredibly exciting and a little bit daunting.
Yeah.
You know, we're standing at the edge of a major technological shift.
Yeah.
And how we use these tools, how we shape this future.
Right.
It's really up to us.
So it's a future where knowledge is more readily available than ever, but it's also a future where our critical thinking skills and human ingenuity are even more important.
Absolutely. We've explored the benefits, the competition, even some of the concerns, but there's one last piece we need to examine, and that's the long-term implications.
Right. What will it mean for society when we can delegate these complex research tasks to AI? How will that change how we work, how we learn, how we interact with the world around us?
Those are big questions, and those are the questions that we're going to tackle when we come back. So stick with us as we take this deep dive even further.
So we've talked about what deep research is, how it works, who's making it, but now we need to look at the bigger picture, like where does this fit into the future?
Yeah, and that's what makes it so interesting. It's not just a new gadget or app or something. This has the potential to really change how society thinks about knowledge and information.
Yeah, so where do we even start? It's like almost too big to think about.
Well, I think a good place to start is how it could affect different fields,
Okay.
like healthcare.
Yeah.
Imagine doctors using this to quickly get up to speed on a rare disease or to figure out the best treatment based on someone's genes.
That sounds like something from the future.
It does, and it's pretty amazing to think that could be possible.
What about other fields?
Yeah, what about like law or something, right? Lawyers could use deep research to look through tons of legal cases and find the best arguments. And journalists could use it to check facts or find connections in big stories. There are so many possibilities.
It's like it could give everyone the knowledge that only experts had before.
Right, it's like democratizing expertise.
Exactly.
And Sundin actually talks about that in his blog post.
Yeah.
He says it could help people learn new things, solve problems better, even do things they love in new ways.
That is pretty exciting. But are there other challenges we need to be aware of?
Yeah, one thing is digital literacy. Like, we need to make sure everyone knows how to use this stuff the right way.
So it's not just about having the technology, it's about knowing how to use it well.
Right. We have to teach people how to think critically about the information they get.
So it sounds like tech companies, educators, even the government need to make sure this technology is used for good.
Definitely. It's not enough to just make it and let people figure it out. We have to be smart about how we use it.
So this is a conversation that's going to keep going. We need to keep asking questions and working together to make sure AI helps everyone.
I agree, and that's what makes me hopeful about this. It's making us think about how we learn, how technology fits into our lives, and what kind of future we want.
That's a lot to think about.
It is. So for everyone listening, I think the most important thing is to stay curious, keep learning, and keep asking questions. This is all changing so fast. And the more we understand it, the better we'll be able to deal with whatever comes next.
It's exciting, it's a little scary, but it shows that we're living in a time of amazing change. And it's up to all of us to make sure that change is for the better.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into deep research.